always like a good biblical conversation, so let's chat. I think we need to talk about the book of Mark. I received this comment today, and this one. So who was Mark? He was often called Mark, but really, John Mark. There was a lot of Johns back then. He wasn't one of the 12 apostles, but neither was Luke. So that fact doesn't disqualify him from being able to write a gospel. Both of these gospels are universally respected. In the early church, like at 120 AD, states that Mark wrote down Peter's eyewitness account accurately. Though not always in strict order, Mark's gospel is often referred to as a Peter's gospel. And most scholars can agree that Mark's gospel was the earliest written one. Which kind of made sense because Peter really liked to talk a lot and usually probably had to get his word in first. And did you know that Matthew and Luke use Mark as one of their main sources? That means that Matthew and Luke thought that Mark's gospel was reliable enough to build upon. And even if Mark didn't travel with Jesus directly, he was connected to people who did. He was a companion of Peter, 1 Peter 5 and 13. And he also traveled with Paul and Barnabas, Acts 12 and 25. Acts 13 and 5. And his mother's house was an early meeting place for believers in Jerusalem, Acts 12 and 12. Which is really cool because Mark most likely grew up with first-hand witnesses of Jesus and all his miracles and all his awesomeness. Like, could you imagine growing up and that being all the people that you're surrounded by? The early church accepted Mark's gospel as authoritative and inspired by the Holy Spirit, long before all these people tried to start arguing about it. The gospels weren't meant to be lone projects done by just the apostles. They were Spirit-inspired accounts. They were rooted in apostolic teaching and eyewitness accounts of what Jesus has done. And the apostles weren't the only people that saw all the miracles and wonders that Jesus did. And that's clearly stated in Luke chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. Mark's gospel fits in our Bible perfectly as it has been inspired by the Holy Spirit, and it testifies of Jesus' miracles, goodness, his early life. It's a beautiful book. And now that we know some of the history, let's read it.